The Astronomican is a psychic beacon on Terra that navigators use to pilot Imperial spaceships through the otherwise unnavigable chaos of warp space. As the beam generated is psychic, it exists within the psychic universe of the warp. It is the duty of the Adeptus Astronomica to maintain all aspects of the Astronomican, including training those who will power it. The Astronomican was originally constructed in M30 in preparation for the Great Crusade. The Emperor brought in large numbers of tech priests and drafted much of Terra's population for the gargantuan task of constructing the chamber of the Astronomican at the Forbidden Fortress. At the time of its construction, the complex was the single largest structure on Terra, though this would later be surpassed by the Imperial Palace. In the days of the Great Crusade, the beacon was powered by the Emperor's own psychic might directly. Without the North Star of the Astronomican to guide their ships through the warp, Imperial armies would not have been able to enact the Great Crusade. In the climactic siege of Terra, at the end of the Horus Heresy, the Astronomican was initially captured and shut down by traitor forces. However, a contingent of Dark Angels under Corwin managed to recapture the beacon and attempted to reactivate it in order to give rowboat Guilliman's fleet of reinforcements a way to Terra. Unfortunately, the initial Astartes' efforts proved unsuccessful in reactivating the beacon, as a Death Guard force, led by First Captain Typhus, launched a counterattack to retake the Hollow Mountain. The Loyalist efforts seemed hopeless until Euphrates Keeler led a mass prayer amongst Terran refugees, which saw huge swaths of them give their lives in order to restart the beacon and push back the traitor host. After the heresy, the Emperor was interred within the Golden Throne and required an increasing number of Psyker sacrifices to maintain the Astronomican. Although the Emperor does not provide the energy of the beacon, only he has the psychic power to handle such immense energy and direct it across the galaxy. To manage this titanic task, the Adeptus Terra created the Adeptus Astronomica, a subdivision tasked with the powering and maintenance of the complex. Led by the Master of the Astronomican, the organization is based in Terra's Forbidden Fortress, where even judges and inquisitors must receive an invitation to enter, and enjoys the defensive infrastructure of the Sol system. Because of the vital importance their mission represents to the Imperium, the Master is a permanent member of the High Lords of Terra. The roughly 10,000 Psykers who power the Astronomican are recruited into the organization through the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. They are initiated into the Adeptus Astronomica as acolytes and taught how to use their powers, philosophy, the meaning of their lives, and the lore of the Astronomican. Some achieve a mystic state, gaining the status of chosen. It is these chosen who are eventually called to serve in the chamber of the Astronomican. Here, they fuel the beacon with their psychic energies. As their powers are drained, the chosen slowly fade and die. Up to 100 Psykers die this way each day, and the organization requires a slow but steady stream of new acolytes. The psychic power they generate through their sacrifice is directed by the mind of the Emperor across about 50,000 light-years of the galaxy. Because Terra is situated in the galactic west, the Astronomican does not cover the extreme eastern part of the galaxy. As a result, warp travel beyond the beacon's reach is severely limited, creating the effective borders of the Imperium. Navigators, as well as other Psykers, can sense the Astronomican. It is described as a sensation of silvery light and a chorus of many heavenly voices, beginning first with a solitary voice and progressively growing into an angelic choir. Additionally, it is suggested that pious Marines who can hear the Astronomican can fall into a meditative trance when they focus on it. The Blood Ravens captain Gabriel Angelos was recorded as occasionally entering a sort of battle trance when he heard the Astronomican in combat, briefly improving his battle prowess. Right after the 13th Black Crusade and the appearance of the Great Rift, the Astronomican went out, causing unrest and horror throughout the Imperium. This period, later called the Days of Blindness, varied wildly. On some worlds, there were mere days of blindness, on others, months. It is presumed that some Imperial planets are still deprived of the Emperor's light. On Terra, the blindness lasted 33 days. Needless to say, if the Astronomican were to fall, the result for mankind would be disastrous. If the beacon were to be disabled for even a century, the logistical capabilities of the Imperium would instantly collapse. And if it were to be destroyed outright, the Imperium would almost certainly fall. Thus, the arcology remains one of the Imperium's best-guarded installations, save the Emperor himself. Thousands of spacecraft, trillions of soldiers, and countless defensive fortifications shore up the doorstep of the Astronomican. For if they were to fail in its defense, the Emperor's light would be extinguished, and all of mankind would likely be drowned in a wave of chaos, xenos, and heretics. Thank you for listening to this entry from the Warhammer 40,000 Lexicanum.